let's begin the contest with our first speaker. Our first speaker today will be Daichi Endo.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very happy to be here, and I'd like to thank you for coming today. So today, the title of my speech is Table for Two, a new style of social contribution. I'm sure that many of you know that the world population reached 7 billion recently. But do you know how many people are suffering from hunger in the world? The answer is about 1 billion, which means 1 person out of 7 people is able to have very little food every day. Those kinds of people live especially in developing countries, such as in Africa. Another question, do you know how many people are obese and have life-related diseases? It is also approximately 1 billion. A large number of people in developed countries overconsume food. On the other hand, the same number of people in developing countries lose their lives because of malnutrition, which comes from food scarcity. This is called food inequality in the world. In order to solve this problem, the NPO, Table for Two, also known by the acronym TFT, was established in Japan in 2007. Its concept is that, first, Table for Two provides healthy menus in company cafeterias or university cafeterias in developed countries. And if people choose and eat TFT menus, 20 yen of each menu will be donated to particular African countries through the NPO TFT. As of now, TFT supports 5 nations: Tanzania, Ethiopia, Rwanda, Uganda, and Malawi. 20 yen is what is needed to provide a school lunch in those nations. And TFT menus are modified to be well-balanced and low in calories. Thus, TFT menu consumers are able to keep themselves healthy. As you can see now, TFT creates a win-win situation for both peoples in developing countries and developed countries. As the proverb goes, from small acorns grow big oak trees. Even 20 yen has had many positive effects in the African countries. Since the TFT system was created, 10,670,000 meals, which is the same as 1 year worth of school lunches for 48,000 children, have been sent. Besides, the education continuance rate in African schools has been increasing. Problems of hunger cause problems of education. In extremely poor families, parents force their children to work to earn money to get food, instead of letting the children go to school. However, children are allowed to go to school if school lunches are provided, because they can eat meals for free. As a result, their education problem will be solved, as well as hunger. In terms of this point, TFT is very reasonable. And this system is essential for not only African children who suffer from food scarcity, but also university students in Japan. As people enter universities, many of them start living alone. Therefore, their diet becomes irregular, skipping breakfast or taking too many carbohydrates and too much oil. Moreover, they tend to lack vegetables and fruits. The table 42 system was on trial in Tokai University from November 21st to the 25th, and 2,001 meals were sold. I'm grateful to those who ate TFT menus. Because it went successfully, the system might be implemented in Tokai University in the near future. I hope everyone will appreciate having TFT menus. It keeps you healthy and provides school lunches in Africa simultaneously. So, why don't you join us and help both the world and yourself at the same time? TFT is making this happen now. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Endo. Our next speaker will be Omar Alomari.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My mom used to always tell me, whenever I'd say something like, "Mom, I want what that kid has," she'd say, "Son, don't look at what other people have, but look at what you have and others lack." These words kept me always appreciative of what life throws at me. There are always other people in worse positions than I am. Life is a changing continuum, which we should never take for granted. And today, I would like to grasp this opportunity to talk to you about the poor and how it is the responsibility of each and every one of us to support them. It is said that it is human nature to be selfish, to only think about ourselves and not think about others. From the moment we open our eyes to this world, we find it full of contrast. And now, I would like you to imagine with me some contrasting images illustrating how humans can be selfish, regardless of that how it affects others. My first image, while a man in a 5-star restaurant is complaining to the manager about how he was not satisfied with the service that he experienced, a mother in Somalia watches her 2-year-old child sleep for the 5th day without a single thing to eat. My second image, while a 20-year-old pays 5,000 yen to a barber in a beauty salon and complains to him about his hair, another 20-year-old in Zimbabwe complains to his father about the crushing pain caused by his appendix, but nothing can be done to help him because of the lack of health care. My third image, while some people spend millions and millions of dollars on mere artwork to decorate their fancy houses, other people can barely gather enough wood to keep them warm from the freezing nights of winter in their drafty tent. I could go on and on with these images, but I think it's obvious how this world is full of contradictions. What I was speaking about were nothing but mere images of hunger, diseases, and homelessness that poor people suffer from in poor countries. But the reality is even harsher. So let's move on to some facts related to these images. Firstly, hunger. 25,000 people die every day from hunger. As am I speaking, and during my 6-minute speech, 104 people are literally dying from the lack of food and water. Secondly, health. 14 million people die every year because of diseases that are associated with poverty. That's roughly 38,000 people every day. Finally, housing. 100 million children worldwide live on the streets. Just last year, 7.6 million children died before reaching their 5th birthday. We often hear about the poor and what they face from lack of food and water, lack of health care, and lack of shelter. But each person takes this information differently. Some people might feel so sad that they might cry for them. Some people feel sorry for them. And some people just don't feel anything. Surprisingly, at this point, they are all equals. Because it doesn't matter how hard you cry for them or how deeply you were bothered by hearing such a thing unless you act upon that. Take a moment with yourself and ask, what have I taken in life? What have I received? And what have I given in return? Think about the easy, unfortunate life that you live. And then think about the hard and the unfortunate life poor people live. That could have been you, but you were fortunate. These poor babies have done nothing wrong to be born under such conditions, but that's just how fate works. Some people are just more fortunate than others, and that has nothing to do with who or what you think you are. So what's to be done to solve this problem? Well, I, for one, as a Muslim, I give 2.5% of my annual savings to the poor. But every person is different. You, as an individual, what can you give to the poor? Set a standard for yourself and be sure never to go below it. It doesn't necessarily have to be 2.5%. Even 1% can make a difference. And it's easy nowadays. With the internet, it's easier than ever to research about charities and the work that they do. Choose what you think is better and give to the poor. As college students, some of you might consider yourselves poor and that you don't need to give to other poor people. But the reality is, poor people live on an income of less than 192 yen a day. We spend more on a cup of coffee. In the end, what I want to say is that we at least have to give while we can. Think of it this way. It doesn't matter how little it is that you're giving, because you'll be even more surprised of how little some people have. Just like how mountains are made from stone, every little good deed adds up to make a better place. Don't take life for granted. And remember that you could become the unfortunate one someday. Thank you.